The first man's name is Kiki. He wears such little pants, wearing tight little pants. His brother was a champion. His brother is a boxing champion. But Kiki loves to dance. But Kiki only loves to dance. The second man was Choo Choo. The second man's name is Choo Choo. And master of romance. It's a romantic teenager. He loved damsels in distress, but not as much as dance. He likes to go to the rescue of the girl in distress, but he prefers to dance. Harvard University, Department of Psychology Dormitory. Natalie Portman, a well-known actress, studied here, and she didn't want to delay her studies while filming Star Wars prequel. Even in Hollywood, where there are many actors, there are very few of the top stars who are highly educated, which is a plus. At noon, I read the notes I had obtained from the professor in the morning, and I had just returned from the library to take a break. Before I could reach the door, I heard a dynamic music through the door into the hallway. What are they doing? Muttered in confusion, Natalie Portman pushed the door open and entered the dormitory. When I saw it, I saw my roommate Porty and the two female classmates in the dormitory next door writhing strangely. What do you say about that kind of writhing? At first glance, it feels like a sand sculpture. But with the song and background music, I feel very magical and very eye-catching. The frequency and amplitude of their writhing, combined with the swaying of their buttocks and waists, especially the exaggerated facial expressions, make people unable to move away at a glance. Potty, what are you doing? Dance, shoulder shaking, don't you know? Shoulder shaking? What kind of dance is this? It's the first time I've seen you, and you're dancing so weirdly. Natalie, it's not that we're dancing weirdly, because this dance is supposed to be done this way. Haven't you watched this video? Potty pointed to the computer screen. What video? Oh my God, you're looking stupid at reading. You can't spend all day in the library. You should surf the internet more and stay up to date with the latest information. Now this video is all over the internet, and my brother recommended it to me, and he is at Yale, and the boys over there have fallen, and they are all competing to imitate this dance. Another dormitory girl said, Natalie, you're a big star. You must know these actors. Hearing this, Natalie Portman took a closer look at it, and the content of the video suddenly struck her like lightning. On Day Inside Station, by chance one day.
In Amsterdam per chance.
In the station in Amsterdam. The man was dancing side by a man with quicker glance. The two of them danced side by side, attracting the crowd of other men. They turned to face each other. They turned around and came face to face. It was just happened to dance. It all happened by coincidence. That these two men would meet that day and do their favorite dance. The two men met each other on this day and danced their destined steps. Wow, you can really dance. Wow, you danced so well. Wow, you can really dance. Wow, you dance so well. They said we've both been dancing all this time. Oh, what a coincidence. They said it was a coincidence that we had been dancing this dance together for so long. Chris Evans and Ryan Reynolds. How could they make this kind of video? Natalie Portman's eyes widened. Not only that, there are a lot of celebrities involved in this video. We just counted. There are at least a dozen. It's fun, isn't it? It's going to be exciting right away. Be careful not to blink. In the magical BGM, Chris Evans, Ryan Reynolds, and Jack Black, who played the little fat man in The Hangover, staged the classic human-to-human, shadow-to-shadow threesome. Porty and his two classmates laughed and shook together again. And then they danced together, ever since they started dancing together. Like no one danced before. It's as if no one has ever skipped it before. The diplomat were dancing. Even the diplomats jumped. They canceled all of the war. They canceled the order for war. The whole world celebrated. The whole world is singing and dancing. Was no more violence. No more violent tendencies for all. And all because these men cross paths. It's all because of these two people meeting. What a coincidence. This is really predestined. Sassy. Riot, 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 riot. Robert Downey Jr. He was able to participate in the filming of this video, which are all popular new actors, and the Olsen sisters are about to catch up with themselves. Robert Downey Jr., who is that? Asked Porty. Apparently the guy who has disappeared from the public eye for a long time. Some people don't remember him anymore. Whoever he is, don't you think his expression is sexy? With that mustache and a low, hoarse voice, I think this actor is quite handsome. It's just a little gay. That's right, but what kind of man in this video isn't gay? Ha ha ha. Ryan Reynolds was a predator in Transformers, a sand sculpture in Sharknado, and a gay here, and he can really handle all kinds of styles. Ha ha ha. Sisters tremble. Looking at her roommate who was following the video again and shaking her shoulders, Natalie Portman shook her head speechlessly. She is an insider, and she won't just look at the surface when she sees things. Gathering such a large number of stars to shoot a spoof video, just like the Saturday night scene, obviously the manipulator behind it has its intentions. Considering that these people have all made movies for MGM, it's no secret that Facebook is an asset to Eric Cooper. It is very possible to be able to innovate Facebook, and then to innovate to make YouTube. As a top student at Harvard, after a brief combing of this information, she has already understood that this is most likely a hype. The purpose is to stir up YouTube, and now it seems that the hype is very successful and the enthusiasm of the public is high, and they have registered accounts to become YouTube users. Even institutions of higher learning such as Harvard and Yale have fallen, and one can imagine what state ordinary people are in. The main reason is that this shoulder shake dance is too magical. I only watched it for a while, and it was as easy to pass from person to person as in the video, and I don't know whose masterpiece it is. Although the video was posted on YouTube, it only borrowed a virtual account, and the registration information behind it could not be found, and Eric did not want to appear in the public eye for the time being. Shoulder Dance has only been released for a few days, and it has gone from YouTube to the entire internet. This time, I didn't spend a dime on the promotion fee, but these stars who participated in the show were too popular. Almost all of them were first and second tier, except for Robert Downey Jr. Chris Evans and Ryan Reynolds are responsible for playing the two male leads, and the Olsen sisters play their girlfriends. Hugh Jackman, Michael Fassbender, Anthony McCann play older brothers and boxers. Tom Hardy plays the role of a little hooligan robber who kidnaps his first girlfriend. Jack Black plays an infected passenger at Amsterdam Station. The yoga master is gone, and Eric doesn't like Asan, so he replaces it with ballet. The ballet danced and was infected into a shoulder-shaking dance, and John Ime played the role of a ballet master. There are also a number of cameos such as Elijah Wood, Benjamin McKenzie, Heath Ledger, and others who are at most a camera or play a passerby. Even the old man Anthony Hopkins was brought in by him to make a cameo appearance as the Secretary of Defense with only one line. If it weren't for the video being less than 3 minutes long, Eric would have been a whole, the founding of the nation, or the night banquet of the wealthy. Now counting how many stars have appeared in it has become a hot topic among the onlookers. Soon, I don't know where to start. A large number of videos of imitating shoulder shaking suddenly appeared on YouTube. Harvard and Yale spearheaded the student council version, followed by other Ivy League schools. In an instant, schools across the United States seem to have entered the stage of an arms race. Student union versions, basketball versions, rugby versions, baseball versions, chess, Go, computer, and other major club versions have sprung up like mushrooms after a rain. Then it began to spread from students to parents, teachers, professors, and even school management. At this time, YouTube also announced the shooting highlights of that day, and a group of stars under the camera followed the steps to learn the actions and talk sassy, which was even funnier than the video. The launch of the decomposition action has pushed the trend to a climax. At this point, it has become a trend in the whole society, and then the nurse version, the stewardess version, the truck driver version, the Spice Girl version, and so on have popped up. Celebrities from all walks of life are also vying to imitate and eat traffic. Many of them helped promote YouTube at the beginning of its launch and stopped updating after registering an account. Because users are active, it means that YouTube, like Facebook, can be used as a fan attraction and publicity position and things that are beneficial to themselves, so why not do it? Once the trend formed, even major TV stations began to follow up, reporting on the incident and launching a host version. Professor Kevin of the University of California, Los Angeles Medical Center said in an interview, "Shoulder shaking is a very good exercise that anyone can learn, and doing this movement can effectively relieve joint pain, frozen shoulder, and other conditions." On talk shows such as The Ellen Show, The Chicken Feather Show, The Daily Show, The Morning Show, and The Conan Show, imitation of shoulder shaking has also become the opening method and the way to liven up the atmosphere. With just one video, YouTube has attracted millions of new users and is undoubtedly the biggest winner. And when they watched the videos related to shoulder dance, they suddenly found that there were many types of videos that they had not seen before. For example, in a video labeled as a ghost animal, many people are curious about what a ghost animal means, which sounds a little scary. As a result, after clicking in, I was immediately conquered by the sharp editing and spoofing method. This video edited and spliced Eminem's MV and the live video of the concert, which completely changed the taste of what he said. Vulgar and lewd, but the effect makes people who have not been exposed to ghost animals laugh. Eric has always had revenge, and Eminem deserves it. There is also a video of survival in the wild, in which the photographer declares that he wants to survive in the wild for a week without using any tools. Some videos are labeled as science and technology popularization, and a Sony camera on the spot is dismantled, and the advantages and disadvantages of each part are popularized to the audience. There are also those who perform talents. Singing and dancing are routine operations. There was a girl who performed a watermelon with her thighs, and the huge watermelon couldn't resist the force of her legs, and it shattered into slag with a bang. At that moment, I don't know how many men came to mind. This girl is from the logistics department of MGM, and she usually loves fitness, and she is also well known in the Los Angeles circle. There is also a chick dressed up as a flowery showman, speaking in a breathless manner, with a green tea face, and her talent is to swallow light bulbs. The fist-sized light bulb was swallowed and taken out, and the mouth was deformed, but I was not affected, and the capacity was extremely amazing. The main one is a pearl in the mouth, and you can advance and retreat freely. The wide variety of video types seems to open up a new world for users. All of a sudden, everyone noticed that the tubing had changed and it had become fun. It became interesting. Many of them opened their minds instantly. The housewife thought, "Isn't it just a pat at the food? I can also make it, and my family, colleagues, and kindergarten teachers praise me for doing a good job." Extreme sports enthusiasts want to be able to film the process of exercise and attract more people to join the sport. Those who like to sing are filmed playing and singing, and those who like dancing are filmed of various types of dance. All of a sudden, videos of various styles were constantly uploaded, and the number and variety of videos in the YouTube comprehensive area became more and more abundant. In this trend, the biggest profit is undoubtedly YouTube, followed by Robert Downey Jr. It was his first public appearance after disappearing from public view for more than a year. The results are very good, although many people still hate him, but at least in the video of shoulder shaking, his performance has been recognized by everyone. Acknowledging your talent and thinking you're scum are two different things. So, Robert Downey Jr. began to appear on some talk shows and the like. All this was expected by Eric, and Downey did not disclose the casting of Iron Man for the time being, as MGM requested, but focused on his own personal issues. To put it simply, it is to whitewash myself and gradually tell the process of how I went to the abyss step by step, which means that it is not all my fault, and it is difficult for me to grow up in that kind of family. But you can't shake the pot. You have to admit your mistakes, and you have to stand up when you are beaten. In the show, he confessed with tears in his eyes, apologized to his ex-wife and children, and won a lot of sympathy for his outburst of true feelings. In the end, he promised not to touch drugs again and completely changed his previous non-good life. Please ask the audience and the media to supervise themselves. If they are caught in drugs again, then they don't need to be scolded by everyone, and they will quit the entertainment industry immediately. The scene of the prodigal son's return can be killed all over the world, and many people feel that Robert Downey Jr. is not so annoying. With the recovery of word of mouth, Donnie began to update his dynamics on Facebook and YouTube and lived a self-disciplined life every day. After a while, the casting of Iron Man was announced. Everyone will naturally think that this is an opportunity given to Downey by Marvel, and it is also an opportunity that Downey has worked hard for himself. Naturally, there will be a lot fewer people scolding the casting, and it is even likely to get more attention. A win-win ending. Do you know YouTube? It's the most fun site in the world, and you can always find something new on YouTube. When you enter YouTube, it's like you're entering a new world, and you'll find that the role of the internet is this: to really understand the world, to really understand what people you don't know are doing. Here, you will see geniuses, ordinary people, sand sculptures, scientists, entertainers, teachers, everything you want here. As countries such as the BBC in the UK, Sky in France, Sydney TV in Australia, and Tokyo TV in Japan began to report on what was happening on the US side, shoulder-shaking dance has successfully radiated from the United States to the world, and many people also know about YouTube, an emerging video website. At present, YouTube only operates in the United States, and the servers have not yet entered other countries. However, the server configuration eliminated by the military network can still alleviate the impact of cross-border internet speed to a certain extent, allowing many people who like new things to explore this strange website across borders. Unlike Facebook, YouTube doesn't even require users to have an account, and tourists can just as much as they want, which is simple and convenient. Howard Hughes reported to Eric, "Boss, now tens of thousands of IP accounts from other countries visit the website every day, and we are really popular." It's okay. Facebook and YouTube will inevitably go global, and Facebook is one step ahead, but it seems that YouTube can catch up. Boss, I've noticed a phenomenon that the connection between Facebook and YouTube is gradually forming, and it's not just the most basic connection like account sharing. Because we have a prize pool, there are a lot of video creators who choose to share their videos on Facebook in order to get rewarded. Of course, this is only a small part, and the main force is still the user, and many interesting videos give everyone a freshness that everyone has never experienced. Many users took the initiative to share it after seeing it, and they could also help their Facebook account increase followers, which formed a promoting effect for both parties. Eric had expected this, and when Lionheart went live again in a while, the three would form a trinity, provide each other with support and ammunition, and eventually form a mutually reinforcing situation. Are the videos for PPAP and Shark Dance ready? Well, I've been holding it in my hand for days, just waiting for the boss to give orders. Very good. The popularity of shoulder dancing has not passed yet, and when the heat subsides, it will be put on the market to pull another wave of traffic. Roger. Late at night, on a plane to Huaxia, Eric and my co-sat in first class. Fortunately, Eric has been in the limelight lately, winning the Golden Globe and the title of the youngest billionaire. But the spread of popularity is still limited to the United States, and even many people in the United States do not know about him. If you don't believe me, ask yourself, who is the youngest, richest man in China? Who is the 51st richest man in the world? A few ordinary people can answer. Everyone only knows the richest man and the most famous. When Eric replaces Bill Gates, or wins an award that attracts more attention from outsiders such as Best Director, his popularity will skyrocket. Michaud is different. He is so famous. Even if he sits in first class, the passengers around him are elites with successful careers, but he is also very excited to see him. The men came up frequently to ask for autographs and group photos, and Eric was pushed back by them. The flight attendants didn't care, because the flight attendants were also waiting in line for autographs and group photos. It took a long time for these people to be born, so sometimes celebrities do need to hire bodyguards or buy a private jet or something. On the one hand, it is responsible for its own safety, and on the other hand, it is also responsible for the order of the place, because there are too many things that cause congestion and riots caused by crazy star chasing. Everyone was so welcoming, my seat became a public seat. Eric complained. Micah smiled and said, "It's good to get used to it. The moment you become a big star, these things are essential, and you will experience it soon." Forget it, I'm not interested in being watched. The spotlight only makes me feel glaring, so the director can do it, but I can't do it as an actor. My button pointed at Eric. If your face appears in the camera, it will definitely attract the attention of countless young girls. Well, this is the same as my dad. The path he arranged for me was to be an actor, and I thought that with this face, at least it would not be a problem to become a second-tier star. Even if the business is not up to par, when you are too old to get angry, the money you make will already be enough to spend for the rest of your life. Then why not follow this path? It sounds far simpler than what you're doing now. Eric made an insulting gesture. It's simple, but the upper limit is only a little bit. If you really go this way, I'm afraid I won't be able to help in your case, and now we won't be sitting on the flight to Huaxia. Michaud nodded thoughtfully. It sounds like everything is destined. The plane slowly landed at Yanjing Airport, and this time Michaud signed a 3-day contract with CCTV, and a performance cost 100,000 yuan. The almost negligible figures, which are obviously symbolic, are far less than a Super Bowl performance. Although the halftime show of the Super Bowl is also very low, the standard is according to the union, even if it is low, but counting the artists, artist teams, agencies, and other parties, the NFL will spend millions of dollars for it. The remuneration of the Spring Festival Gala is even lower. That is, it will only cost a sum if you invite people from abroad. With so little money, CCTV naturally had to be responsible for food and accommodation, but it was also rejected by Eric. There are many people in the place arranged by CCTV, so I still live with myself. Here, Susan was instructed to arrange Michaud and his party properly, and Eric went to the Oriental MGM company in the Science and Technology Park first. I have helped to do so many things, and the feedback here is also very fast, and I gave him an answer before the Chinese New Year. The secretary led him to the office, where Chun-O and Han Sanping were drinking tea and chatting. Seeing Eric stand up immediately, Lao Han still has that bold character, and he came up to hug him first. Chun-O was much more elegant, and the two smiled and shook hands and sat down. "Old Han, I haven't seen you for 2 months. I don't need to be so excited every time. I'm still not used to hugging men." Old Han laughed and said, "I am excited when I see you, and there is no way to do things when I am excited." If he's not excited, Megalodon has already started filming, and the organization has discussed his work, and the results will be out in a few days. Chun-O told the reason. They are all people with interests, and the results will be announced soon. There is no need to hide it. Eric raised his eyes and looked at Lao Han. Straightened out? Hee, the results haven't been announced yet, but 8 or 9 are not far from 10, and they should be stable. Congratulations. Lao Han said happily again. I am happy, and it is thanks to you that I have supported my work that things can go so smoothly. In this case, I should call you Han Dong in the future. Old Han waved his hand. What Han Dong or Lao Han sounds kind. I'm used to it, and besides, how can I, the chairman, compare with you, the chairman? You're worth billions of dollars, and I can't compare to one of you if you add up to 10. Haha, can't say that. Money can't represent power. The 7 major Hollywood film companies, and there are powerful second-rate companies such as New Line, Lionsgate, and Emperorgate around. I can't say anything like you in Hollywood. People don't want to sell my face. They can ignore me, but no one in China dares not to drink your tea. Chunho opened his mouth and said, that was before, and it won't be long before those people don't dare not drink your coffee. What do you mean? Did you agree from above? Eric turned to look at him. Chunho nodded and motioned for Eric to sit down. Eric, about your proposal last time. After I reported it to the director, the bureau took it very seriously. There were many meetings and studies, and although there was resistance, it was finally passed, and after the report, the leadership also approved. In principle, a 3-year exploration period is demarcated, and as long as it does not violate public order, good customs and laws, it is allowed to reintroduce American dramas for broadcast in China. Lao Han patted him on the shoulder. Eric, the Bureau has decided, and it will be carried out according to the results of our discussion last time. The unification of the Huaxia side is under the sole responsibility of MGM Oriental for the introduction, and the official document is expected to be issued soon after the year. When the documents come down, the introduction can be started. You've got this thing in mind, and it's done. Eric looked happy. Chinju, Lao Han, you gave me a big surprise today. I thought it would take a few months to get stuck no matter how fast it is. We were all ready to solve the resistance problem, but I didn't expect it to pass so smoothly. It's a lot of effort, thank you. Thank you very much. Chunho nodded. Friends, it's about helping each other. Eric, you've been helping Huaxia film and television culture expand its overseas influence. After the leaders know it, they also recognize and attach great importance to it. We have an old saying in China, come and don't be rude. Let friends only suffer losses and not get in return. Chinese people can't do this kind of thing. Those small African countries do us a little favor. China has always paid back tenfold, and the country of etiquette pays attention to benevolence and righteousness. Han Samping explained, there is actually an important reason why it passed so quickly this time. Now the idol dramas of Korean and crooked in China are popular on the streets and alleys, which have a great impact on society, especially young people. Therefore, the upper echelons also hope to reintroduce American dramas to dilute the influence of Hallyu and Bend, accelerate the integration of the domestic cultural market with international standards, and promote faster maturity. Then when I go back in a few days, I immediately set about setting up a new company. Eric said, well, I think about not broadcasting the first drama on CCTV for the time being and let Yenjing Satellite TV be the one who eats crabs. Eric understood Chunho's worries, but he was still afraid that it might cause a bad impact, so he asked the local station to make the first thunder. This is your business. I don't interfere, but let Yenjing Satellite TV broadcast it. Why don't you see Lao Zhou today? He's busy with the Spring Festival Gala. Tonight is the Spring Festival Gala of Yenjing Satellite TV, and he can't get out. But I've already told him about it. Lao Zhou is a man who is affectionate and understands the rules, and he has already agreed. When he's done with today, you can meet before you leave to discuss what genre to introduce into the first play. When we want to fight, we must fire, and only after we start can we report to the leader. The introduction of American dramas was settled so quickly, and Eric was also overjoyed, and the 3 of them had dinner together at noon and talked about Megalodon. After the last time Eric left the script, after some revisions, the project was quickly established and the money was ready-made. In fact, if you want to start filming, you can start a month in advance, mainly stuck in the casting link. MGM helped find Gwada Statham to play the male lead, although Gwada is not currently a first-line action actor, but there is a second-line actor. In particular, Last year, he contributed wonderful fights and performances in The Extraordinary Human Trafficker, written by Luc Besson, which made him famous. This movie can only be regarded as a small profit at the box office, but the videotape market is a big hit, selling tens of millions, which is better than many big productions. He is only one hit away from being a first-line action actor, and it may be next year's Very Human Traffickers too. Now this point in time belongs to the stage, where the salary is not high but the cost performance is very high, and the action movie is in decline, and it only cost $3 million to sign it. The male protagonist is very simple, mainly because the Chinese heroine has broken the head in China. After the news was released, not to mention the first-line flowers, actresses with a little bit of popularity wanted to participate.
Michelle Yeoh, Karen Mok, Yang Yi, Yao Wei, Ruby Lin, Fan Yu, Li Bingbing, Su King, Shuki, Su Yingli.
As long as the age and image are not too far apart, female stars almost rush out to compete for this role. Sino-US co-produced films, even after more than 10 years, are still the object of competition, let alone at this point in time. And the investment in Megalodon is $50 million, and MGM and Huaying are half open. 2 years ago, the investment in Hero was $30 million, and Megalodon almost doubled. Such a good opportunity. If you catch a car, you will fly directly to the world, and you will be as famous as Gong Li and Maggie Cheung, who cannot be impressed. What kind of fighting and competition went on inside, Eric doesn't know, but this board must have been photographed by Han Sanping. The heroine finally fell to Su Jinglei, the darling of the Beijing Circle. At this point in time, the influence of the Beijing Circle in the Chinese entertainment circle is still very large, and she should pay a lot of price in order to help her get this role. But these things Eric doesn't care, and who the heroine loves has almost no effect on the movie. Megalodon is a man's play, to be precise, a man and a shark play, and the addition of a heroine is purely for the sake of co-production and embellishment. Just like Transformers, the audience chooses to watch this movie, who is there to see and talk about love. After lunch, Eric returned to the hotel, rested for a while, and went to CCTV to prepare for the rehearsal with Maiku in the afternoon. Ciao, Eric. I just learned that Huaxia has a mascot every year. Tigers, snakes, rabbits, cows, sheep, tortoises, cheetahs. Wait, who told you about the turtle and the cheetah? Hearing my buckle swing his finger to do science for himself, Eric's eyes darkened. Ah, isn't it a tortoise and a cheetah? I don't remember exactly. They said there were 12 kinds of animals, and each of these 12 animals was a year, and there was a cycle of 12 years. And there are dragons. Can dragons be considered animals? Aren't dragons fantasy creatures? Tell me where the tortoise and the cheetah came from. Didn't there be a tortoise or a cheetah? What about cats and dogs? I think I'm mistaken. Eric waved his hand. There are dogs but no cats, and the 12 animals are rats, cows, tigers, rabbits, dragons, snakes, horses, sheep, monkeys, chickens, dogs, and pigs. They are arranged in a fixed order, using a very old method of counting that I can't express in English, called the sexagenary branch. Eric, you really know a lot about Chinese culture, so you can help me do the math. What should my mascot be? Maiku was born in 1958, but Eric also does not know how to use the sexagenary algorithm, although the junior high school teacher has taught it, but he neglected to use it, and he has long forgotten it. He used the stupidest method. This year is the year of the monkey, so he deduces it year by year. A super rich man, a world pop king, the two sit in the car and count with their fingers. After a long time, Eric finally said firmly, "Dog, your mascot is a dog." Hearing this, my button smiled and nodded. The dog is also great, although I think the orangutan is better. Eric smiled, knowing that Midlock was very fond of the orangutan, and he even saved a few $1,000,000 for the pet orangutan, just in case something happened to him and no one had to keep him. What's its name? What's the name of that mascot dog? It doesn't seem to have a name, but it must be a good dog. While speaking, the car came to the rehearsal site of the Spring Festival Gala. At this time, there are still 3 days left before the Spring Festival Gala of the Year of the Monkey is broadcast, and several rounds of rehearsals have been carried out, and actors from all walks of life have also participated in several rounds. Some were successfully selected, and some were screened out after a few rounds. Therefore, the real program list has still not been announced. It is still an old tradition, and it must wait until the Chinese New Year's Eve, a few hours before the opening of the party. Some shows will be taken down just a few hours ago. So this gala that brought laughter to the national audience was actually extremely difficult to endure behind the scenes. Can survive until the broadcast of the party, and in addition to the excitement, I am already exhausted. It's a live broadcast again, and a mistake will be infinitely magnified, and the pressure on the actors is very high. In language programs, there is often controversy over who is the first to play. One is because the first one is stressful, and the other is that many people haven't finished their meals at that point in time, and they haven't had the heart to pay all their attention to TV. Finally, last Spring Festival Gala, naturally I hope to get the greatest attention. And this burden often falls on the shoulders of the old artist Feng Gong. The reason given by Feng Gong is that he has a better mentality, can resist pressure, and can go home to accompany his old mother for the new year when the performance ends early. Outside the venue, a large number of media are squatting, and since the program list is not announced, the program can only be judged according to the stars who come to the rehearsal. It has long been rumored that this year's Spring Festival Gala will invite an international superstar to participate, but it is unclear who it is. Some say it's Leonardo DiCaprio, others say Michael Jackson, and it's rumored to be Celine Dion's. The more outrageous rumor is Beckham. Many people on the internet are wondering, invite Beckham to play football on the stage of the Spring Festival Gala? Thinking about that picture, it seems too strange. At most invite people to send a blessing. Until the last few days, it was rumored that Michael Jackson's call was getting louder and louder, but CCTV never replied. Seeing several unfamiliar license plate numbers, the reporter was keenly aware that there was a new situation. Perhaps the mystery should be revealed, and everyone's eyes were focused on the door. The car door was pushed open and Eric stepped out of it. Huh? Foreigner, quickly identify which big star it is. What a young man, such a handsome foreigner. Who is this? Does anyone know it? It looks familiar, but I can't name it. Xiaozhang, aren't you known as the European and American generals? When it comes to your hobbies, let's see who this young man is. Singer or movie star? Brother Wang, it seems to be Eric Cooper. What pants? What does he do? Not pants, Eric Cooper. Some time ago at the Golden Globes, he won Best Screenplay. Screenwriter, film and television industry. No. What is CCTV asking a screenwriter to do? Write scripts? Live performance calligraphy. Brother Wang, screenwriting is just his hobby. His main job is MGM's boss, Hollywood's top boss. Do you know MGM in the East? You know, it's not to shoot Megalodon. The heroine chooses to make a fuss. Wait, MGM and MGM Dongfang. Is this Kid and China Film a partnership company? Xiaozhang nodded. It's him. Don't look at him in his 20s. But he has a net worth of more than $5 billion, ranking 77th on the world's richest list. A real super boss. Brother Wang, those celebrities you just mentioned, strictly speaking, are worthy of giving him a shoe. Damn. That's it. But if he appears, then I'm probably sure that Michael Jackson will also appear. Why? Because everyone who pays attention to Europe and the United States knows that these two people are iron buddies, and they wear a pair of pants if they have a good relationship. Ah, Michael Jackson. It's really my buckle. CCTV really invited Jackson. Oh my God. I'll go. It turns out that the rumors are true. CCTV is really awesome this time, and it can actually invite Michael Jackson to the Spring Festival Gala. I'll go. When my buckle stepped out of the car, reporters who had been holding a wait-and-see attitude rushed over. Xiao Zhang and Brother Wang bowed their heads and said a few words, and when they looked up and found the situation, there was no vacancy if they wanted to squeeze in. Brother Wang, you hug me, lift me up, and I'll take pictures. Stinky boy, let you take advantage of it once. Hee hee. I'll just say it's Michael Jackson. There is hope for this year's Spring Festival Gala. In addition to Zhao Benshan, there is another breaking point. A group of reporters gathered around to shoot wildly and ask questions in Chinese. It's a pity that my couldn't understand a word, so he could only smile and nod at them. Eric could understand. He was too lazy to answer. As long as he answered one, the questions would appear one after another. I really want to be interviewed, and it's not too late to finish the rehearsal. Seeing that the boss was surrounded, more than a dozen tall backup dancers wanted to come to the rescue. Eric waved his hand to signal that they didn't have to care and they couldn't take care of it, and on this 1/3 of an acre, CCTV had to be easy to use. Sure enough, a moment later, several men and women with work cards rushed over. Let's let go. Don't crowd it. Let people come out first. Which newspaper are you from? But the popularity and cards of my buckle are too big, and for many people, the opportunity to see him on the spot may only come once in a lifetime. So the reporters didn't listen to the command at all and continued to hold the camera lens and shoot wildly. Seeing that his good voice and angry speech didn't work, the man with glasses who took the lead yelled, "Everyone get out of the way. Otherwise, from now on, you will never be able to set foot on CCTV again, and weigh it yourself." After these cruel words, the order of the scene was gradually restored. I said, "Why don't you understand the rules? You're busy rehearsing. Do you know how tight the time is inside?" Some people laughed, and some nodded their heads. Teacher Zhou, isn't it exciting? CCTV's handwriting this time is too big. I never dreamed that one day I would be able to stand face to face with Michael Jackson. Yes, that's Michael Jackson, and he's not a domestic star, and we're never excited to see China. Impulsive, Mr. Zhou, you take care of it. Mr. Zhou thought to himself, I couldn't imagine that I would meet Michael Jackson one day, but he is the king of the world's pop. Who knows how to get such a big card? It is said that it only cost 100,000 renminbi, which is incredible, simply incredible. Under the leadership of Mr. Zhou, the group finally left smoothly. As a result, as soon as I walked into the building, it attracted the attention of countless people. Michael Jackson, it's Michael Jackson. The rumors turned out to be true. He also brought a backup dancer, and there was really a show. Let's go and ask for an autograph and take a group photo. What are you doing stupidly? Seeing that the situation was about to get out of control again, Teacher Zhou hurriedly shouted, "Teachers, the leaders are in a hurry. Do we have any requests later? Don't delay." Hearing that the leader was in a hurry, everyone stopped and watched Eric and my buckle leave with straight eyes. See, Micus, wherever you go, there will be a riot. My stroked his hair. I still want to go to the Great Wall and the Forbidden City. It is said on the internet that Yanjing must go to these two attractions, but now it seems that there may be trouble. Following Mr. Zhou to the studio hall, a children's program was being rehearsed. Dozens of children dressed in colorful festive costumes danced to the songs. On the big screen behind him, the theme songs of Shuk Beta, Journey to the West, The Legend of Neza, and Sheriff Black Cat were skewered, which immediately evoked Eric's childhood memories. These kids are so beautifully dressed. Micah's love flooded instantly. When she goes back, buy some traditional Chinese clothes and make gifts for Paris, she will definitely like it. That's a good suggestion. After the children's program ended, The leaders and judges sitting below said a few words to the choreographer, and then dozens of children left the stage. When he passed by Micah's side, he looked very curiously at the group of foreigners in front of him shouting, and some of them opened their mouths in surprise. "Mr. Jackson, Mr. Cooper, it's our time." Under the leadership of Teacher Zhou, Eric and Micah came to the group of leaders, and several young people in their 30s and old ones in their 50s hurriedly stood up to say hello. In front of ordinary people, they are leaders and CCTV bosses, but in front of Eric, they are all small shrimps who can't get on the stage. In a few words, another rich man in his 50s walked over, and when he saw him, the others gave way. "Mr. Cooper, this is Director Chen of our CCTV. Teacher." Zhou reminded him in a whisper, and when Eric heard that his surname was Chun, he couldn't help but think of Chino. Could it be that the two are relatives? Otherwise, why would Chino beg for him in the first place? Director Chen shook hands with Eric and Micah respectively. "Mr. Cooper, I am glad to see you. I have admired your name for a long time. I finally met you today, and I must thank you for having Mr. Jackson this time." "Mr. Jackson, I'm a fan of yours. I often listen to many songs at home, and I've finally met a real person after all these years. Ha ha ha. Tonight, I will be the East, call Lao Han and Lao Zhou, and be sure to do their best to be the landlord." After chatting with Director Chen for a while, Micah's rehearsal began. Eric was not proficient in what was going on stage, so he didn't participate in it after watching it for a while, and turned around and walked around the studio hall to take a look. Several groups were rehearsing at the same time, and it was very lively. But when many people see him, a young and handsome foreigner, they can't help but stop and look twice, especially for women. He also noticed a lot of familiar stars: Xia Xiaodong, who was not confused, Mei Ting, who didn't talk to strangers, Sun Li, who had not yet become popular, and Huang Yi, who had not yet cleared his blood with Huang Yi. They sang a song together. I didn't pay attention when I watched it when I was a child. It turned out that from such an early age, unprofessional actors began to sing on stage, but fortunately, the sketches have not flooded. Also saw the singing and performance of last year's popular crews, such as Pink Girl, The Family of Gold Powder, Lu Laozhen, and he smiled helplessly when he saw Yan Shuejing. There are also many comedians: Guada, Guodonglin, Yan Shengkai, Hong Jiantao, Ho Yaowen, Shi Fuquan, and of course, the Iron Triangle Zhao Benshan, Fan Wei, and Gao Xiumin. The name of the sketch they performed was Renting a Wife, and Eric looked at the name and thought about it for a long time, and he didn't remember that the three of them had worked together on this play. Looked at two only then did I understand what Rent a Wife, probably because I thought the name was cheesy and changed it to Water Deliverer on stage. The bright moonlight and glass in front of the bed are so frosty. If you don't wipe it quickly, it will be dirty. By the way, Eric can still recite it. Uncle Benshan probably didn't expect that after he left the stage of the Spring Festival Gala, the sketch would collapse to that point. "Hello, may I ask if it is Mr. Eric Cooper?" Suddenly, a voice sounded from behind, the voice of a young man. Mandarin is spoken with an accent, and when you hear it, it smells like it is bent and very familiar, and Eric can already guess who it is. "Hello, Mr. Cooper, I'm Jay Cho." "Hello, Mr. Cooper, I'm Jay Cho." Seeing Jay Cho, who was still young and hadn't drunk too much milk tea, Eric nodded. "Hello, I'm Eric Cooper." "Oh, sure enough, as rumors, you speak Mandarin more standard than me." Eric smiled, and most people don't dare to take the initiative to greet him. Foreigners are born with a sense of distance. How many people in the audience are confident that their English can pass? They just didn't expect that Eric spoke Chinese more slippery than many actors with heavier accents. "Mr. Cooper, I'm your fan. Transformers is super good-looking and super cool, but Adele's Life is not introduced in the mainland and Benz, so I can only buy discs. If I had known I would have met you, I would have brought the figurines I treasured at home to autograph." Hearing the word fan from Jay Chow's mouth, I don't know why it's a little cool, and the corners of Eric's mouth can't help but rise. 2004 was the first time Jay Chou appeared on the Spring Festival Gala, and he was also the focus of publicity at this party. And even if it is placed in East Asia, Southeast Asia, or even the whole of Asia, Jay Chou at this time also has a certain influence, and it is not an exaggeration to call it the little king of Asian pop music. Especially last year's album, Yi Hui Mei, which included classic songs such as In the Name of the Father and Dongfeng Pa. In the Name of the Father, the song was broadcast simultaneously on dozens of radio stations throughout Asia, and hundreds of millions of people listened to it at the same time. It's one thing for foreigners to not understand the lyrics, but the beauty of the melody and the operatic elegance fascinate many people. This year, there are still divine comedy saliva songs such as Mice Love Rice in the Streets and Alleys of China, and Jay Chou is indeed a dimensionality reduction blow. Also last year, he was featured on the cover of Time magazine, which is undoubtedly an affirmation of his influence in the Chinese language and the Asian region. Even if Eric is not a music enthusiast, he can sing famous songs such as Jay Chou's Blue and White Porcelain, Dongfeng Pa, and Thousands of Miles Away. Do you like Transformers? Which character do you like the most? Megatron, by a bed. Its transformation is simply so handsome. The dick is exploding. Is that big model made by MGM still there? The Megatron who can speak. I went to Shanghai to see it, but Shanghai is a barricade, but unfortunately it's not to buy a bed. They're all at MGM's filming base. Really? Can I go and see if I have a chance? It's not open to the public, but my friend can. I remember you were on the cover of Time magazine last year. The young Cho Dong was a little proud and a little shy. Actually, the cover photo is not very good. I've watched that issue, and I've heard some of your songs, and it's a very special way of rapping, which is very different from the style in the United States, but it sounds very emotional. Receiving the compliment, Jay Chou grinned. This Spring Festival Gala performance, I still plan to rap, sing 2002's Dragon Fist, etc. Will you watch it? Eric nodded. It should be. I don't think CCTV will be stingy with a ticket for me. Wow, your Mandarin and sense of humor are better than mine, Mr. Cooper. How about a group photo? No problem. I don't participate in the show. I have time. Haja help take a photo. Be handsome. The shutter flashed, and Jay Chou hurriedly asked, "How was the shooting?" The assistant made an okay gesture before he thanked him contentedly. Don't you have to participate in rehearsals? Eric looked at him curiously, feeling that he was a little idle. I've been on stage almost 10 times, and when I sang on stage for the first time, those older leaders looked at me. I looked at you, not to mention how funny their expressions were. Is it because you can't hear the lyrics clearly? Was ridiculed, and the young Cho Dong immediately covered his head and shook his head slightly. It doesn't matter. Those who engage in rap in the United States, in fact, I can't hear a word clearly. Just don't hear it clearly. This is the style of rap. Hey. The main reason is that Fong Wenshan's lyrics are too difficult to remember, and when I forget the words, I can only murmur and muddle in the past. Mr. Cooper, I just heard that you came with Michael Jackson? Eric nodded. Let me guess. The next thing you're going to say is that I'm also a fan of Milestone, right? Of course. All the people who play music all over the world are his fans. Dong Cho said excitedly with sudden eyes. He's rehearsing in Hall 3, so let's go and see it together. That's great. I'm still worried about how to talk to idols and take pictures. Huh. So that's why you approached me? He nodded a little bit, but I really like your movies. In fact, I also have some yearning for the film and television industry. I have made a few movies and TV series, and to be honest, it's pretty good to be an actor. Jay Chou belongs to the typical popularity too high as a cross-border actor. It is just that due to the over-success of his singing career, his achievements in film and television are relatively bleak. If Eric remembers correctly, Next year, he will star in his first movie, Initial D, and will later participate in Chinese films such as The City is Full of Golden Armor, Slam Dunk, Thorn Tomb, Suqier, and so on. And because of its popularity in Chinese-speaking areas, he has also participated in films such as The Green Hornet and Amazing Demon Thieves 2, and has always inherited the tradition of acting and directing, and has directed films such as The Secret That Can't Be Said and Panda Man, and the quality is still qualified. Think about the last time I went to Japan to do publicity, and I was talking about cooperation with those comic clubs, and I am expected to win the film and television adaptation rights of some popular comics. Once the cooperation is negotiated, the filmed film and television dramas will definitely be released globally, and some roles are actually played by Jay Cho quite well. After all, Japanese manga is more suitable to play with an Asian face. Do you want to be an actor, and are you interested in anime? Chodong nodded. Of course, I especially like to watch Detective Conan. Do you know it? The male protagonist in it, Shinichi Kudo, I love him so much. Conan, the eternal second-grade elementary school god of life and death? MGM is negotiating with the Japanese side to make a film and television adaptation of some manga in the future. If you have the idea of entering the film and television industry, I will contact you when the time comes. Jay Cho was a little surprised, just chasing a star and chasing out the role. The assistant hurriedly pushed him, and he nodded hurriedly. Yes, I still like filming, and if I have the opportunity to shoot Hollywood movies, it will definitely be better. Then when you agree, I'll contact you when the time comes. While talking, they came to Studio 3 and saw Eric leading people, but the staff didn't dare to stop them and obediently let them in. Just kidding. Just now the director came to meet with others in person. This kind of big man can't be provoked. He really can't be provoked. Entering the interior, I saw that my co was communicating with the people of CCTV with the help of the translator. His forehead was covered with dense fine sweat, and the accompanying dancers around him were also panting and resting, obviously just finished the performance. Looks like you're a bit out of luck. Michael has already finished the show. Jay Cho didn't answer. He was already staring at my buckle with bright eyes. If he hadn't taken care of what he was talking about, he would probably have rushed over immediately. What's going on? Are you having trouble communicating? My co shook his head slightly. They seem to be a little dissatisfied with my dance moves, and we are communicating. It's too demanding, aren't you? And they're not satisfied with your dancing, said Eric. No, it's not dissatisfied. It seems that there is a movement that is not civilized enough. Saying that, my buckle made a signature move of topping his hips. That's it. The TV station is worried that it may have a bad effect on children. Eric rolled his eyes. He was speechless. The reason for the classification of movies is understandable. It is difficult to control the ideology if it is released, and many directors will definitely shoot a large number of R-rated and NC-17 rated movies, which will have a great impact on people's thoughts. But it's just one action, and there are more artists who do this action, which can have a bad effect. Everyone's attention will definitely be on the My Buckle as a whole, who will have bad thoughts because of this thing, not to mention that the person who does it is the My Buckle. It's just a volley of firecrackers thinking too much. I'll talk to them. Feeling a little upset, Eric decided to talk to these old-fashioned people personally. As a result, he was about to walk over when he suddenly nodded. Mr. Jackson, after discussion, we don't think there is any need to delete your movements. Jump according to your ideas, and we will cooperate. Jay Cho, who was watching from the side, looked at these guys in astonishment, thinking that he was not less troubled during the rehearsal, and this is the end? He was still stunned, and the other party continued, Mr. Jackson, we also agreed to your request for real singing. Just watched your live performance and was honestly blown away. Wait a minute, I want to sing it too, can I? Jay Cho asked. Then, the other party decisively refused. His dragon fist was not liked by these old antiques in the first place, and it would be good to let you go on stage. If you still want to play real singing, do you have that level? It makes more sense to read the lyrics clearly before discussing this issue. Eric, who is this? Maiku looked at Dong Cho, and Jay Cho hurriedly introduced himself. Eric helped him add that this young man was a very hot singer in Asia and had also appeared on the cover of Time magazine. Maiku couldn't help but look forward to it. I'm waiting to see your performance. This sentence made Jay Cho feel pressured, but he still successfully got the autograph and took a group photo. The signature was signed directly on his coat, and the young Cho Dong kept muttering that he wanted to go back and treasure his clothes. Heaven sends blessings, earth sends blessings. I send blessings to everyone. Give blessings to every place, and blessings to every household. The old man receives blessings, and the old people come to enjoy the blessings. When the child receives a blessing, he will become a great blessing. In the lively and magnificent opening music, the 2004 Spring Festival Gala of the Year of the Monkey officially kicked off. Dozens of young and beautiful girls danced on the stage waving wide skirts, and Xie Xiaodong, Sun Li and others sang the opening song, Blessing Spring, on the stage. Eric and my buckle seats are arranged in the front row and in a position which is in charge of the overall situation, and the visual effect is very good. Looking at the lively scene on the stage, it was the first time that my buckle participated in this type of party, and it was completely different from the experience of events he often attended. Eric, they look so happy. It's a bit of a Spanish dance. Because this is an annual event, this party is very important for Chinese people. Even if they are sad in their hearts, they must be happy on the stage. Maiku nodded. Professionalism, I understand. No wonder the TV station asked them to use lip syncing, which is actually responsible for the audience. After the opening song and dance, the four hosts Zhu Jun, Zhou Tao, Li Yong, and Ni Ping walked on the stage. At this moment, when we celebrate the Spring Festival here, the spring breeze of 2004 is blowing all over the land of China. In the past year, the Chinese nation has made brilliant achievements that have attracted the attention of the world. The Spring Festival of the Year of the Monkey is not ordinary, and tonight we at CCTV are determined to bring excitement and joy to the national audience. At this happy and peaceful moment, we would like to first congratulate the people of all ethnic groups across the country, Hong Kong and Macau compatriots, Taiwan compatriots, overseas Chinese compatriots, and the Chinese people all over the world. I wish my friends in front of the TV happiness and health, the prosperity and strength of the motherland, and I also wish my friends who read books a bright future, a happy family, and a happy. After the opening remarks, Ho Yawen, Shi Fuquan, and others brought the crosstalk, Zodiac, greeting the new year. Eric smiled knowingly, and although my buckle didn't understand it at all, he was still infected by the joyful atmosphere around him, and he couldn't help but laugh along. Eric, is this a stand-up comedy? It's kind of similar, but it's not the same as a talk show, and it should be classified as a comedy. Wow, I have a lot of respect for comedians, and it's not easy to make the audience laugh. Eric thought to himself that this was the end of the game, and when the iron triangle came out, the applause and cheers would blow the ceiling off. Guada, Guodonglin, and Yang Lei brought Good People Don't Get Discounted, and Yen Shunkai and Hong Jiantao and Tinker Bell performed the sketch, Storytelling. The story of a food stamp is okay, a bit of a dumpling taste, but it is not as rushing as the taste of later generations. However, it was a failure to choose Tinker Bell as a child star. Eric has always thought that he is the most greasy child star in China, especially playing the young Yanghua in The Legend of the Condor Heroes, and that greasy energy is not inferior to Huang Xiaoming at all. Yang Xiaohua and Yang Yi father and son performed crosstalk, Father and Son New Year, and Huang Hong and Cheng Yu brought the sketch Brothers, but the laughter was average. Until Gong Hanlin's sketch, Urban Stranger, the magical Cantonese, the hen made the audience laugh. This mantra really made Eric remember it for a long time. The song Skewer that many young people are looking forward to begins. After Leek Highway and Adieu, the god of war under the car sang Warmth. The lights became colorful, and Jay-Cho appeared with his dragon fist. Michael, he is the singer who took a photo with you that day to sign an autograph, Eric said, pointing to the stage. Hearing this, Micah's attention became concentrated. I saw that Dong Cho first played a drum and then lip-synced. I opened the sky with my right fist and turned into a dragon. Move the mountains and rivers back and fill the cracks. The sunrise in the east adjusted time and space. Go back to the wilderness to dominate and manipulate. Somersaults, sword dances, and non-stop swaying drive the atmosphere. How so? It feels very energetic, but it is also full of middle and second sense, and it seems that it is a little too strong, and it can only be said that the stage skills are still relatively green. And there was a group of backup dancers standing behind, just standing there, so I could design some movements to highlight it. After Dong Cho finished singing, he deliberately glanced at my buckle before leaving. Eric looked behind him. Many middle-aged people were in a state of confusion, probably wondering what this young man was singing. Micah, what do you think of his singing? Micah nodded slightly. Very. It's a personal characteristic. No wonder he's going to be an Asian superstar. It's time for me to prepare. At this point in the party, it was almost 10:30, and 2.5 hours had already exhausted some of the audience. At this time, a burst of cardiotonic stimulation is needed, and Uncle Ben Sean, the king of sketches, was born for this time period. As soon as the iron triangle appeared, it was immediately greeted with warm applause. Even if the sketch, Water Deliverer, is not first class among Uncle Benshon's works, it still brings bursts of laughter. It's all real laughter, not adulterated. After a burst of cardiotonic injections, many viewers' spirits were beaten again, and their attention returned to the TV screen. But as the party continued, by 11:30, the audience's attention was out of order again, and many people were almost unable to stay up and prepare for bed. It's time for another shot of heart-boosting prepared by CCTV to come on the field. With the departure of the host, the much-anticipated program arrived. The stage lights suddenly became black and red, which suddenly refreshed people's spirits, and the BGM as exciting as the 007 movie soundtrack appeared, and many people's pupils tightened. The king of the world's pops. The program schedule of the Spring Festival Gala in the Year of the Monkey was determined and announced a few hours before the start of the broadcast, and it caused heated discussions after it was announced. Jay-Cho, there is Jay-Cho this year. I want to watch Jay. I want to listen to Dragon Fist. It will definitely explode the audience. There is also Karen Mok and Chi Chin singing The Outside World. I am looking forward to this show so much. Karen Mok's legs are too amazing and beautiful. Obviously, help me see who is in this year's sketch crosstalk. Grandpa, don't worry about it. There are Zhao Benshon, Fan Wei, and Gao Xiumin, as well as Guodong Lin, Huang Hong. Anyway, those familiar faces of the Spring Festival Gala are all there this year. By the way, and Yen Shunkai. Don't you like this old man very much? Yen Shunkai has it. Hey, let me tell you, Yen Shunkai is his grandfather's childhood idol and memory. The True Story of AQ is very good. A national first-class actor. I forgot which year the Spring Festival Gala. He played Zhang Sankaran, and now I still remember a few lines. Okay, if you don't go to bed first, I'll call you when you get to these shows, and then get up and watch. A middle-aged man took out a bottle of wine from the cabinet, put it near his nose and sniffed it, then smiled and nodded, and drank it tonight. The old man took a look at it and asked strangely, "Why are you willing to take out this wine? Isn't it your treasure? Aren't you reluctant to drink it?" The son smiled. "It's different now. This year's Spring Festival Gala invited a world superstar. That is my idol. I really didn't expect to see him one day in the Spring Festival Gala. It can be regarded as a dream come true, and I must celebrate. Dad, who are you talking about? You're still chasing stars. A middle-aged woman came out of the kitchen. Why don't you chase it? Don't think that your parents are old hats. We were also star chasers when we were young. But at that time, chasing stars was not as convenient as it is now. I couldn't fly around and I couldn't watch concerts, mainly using tapes and videotapes. Your dad was talking about Michael Jackson, and at that time your dad didn't know where to get the videotape, and after watching it, he started to search around for Jackson's audiovisual materials and learn how to dance in space. What is a space step? The dance created by Michael Jackson is so handsome to dance. At that time, everyone around me was learning, but now it can't work. The weight has come up, the belly is big, and I can't dance. The son, who is in junior high school, shook his head, obviously not impressed by his parents' idols. After all, when my buckle was the hottest, he was not yet 10 years old. How could he understand this? Dad twisted his ankle a few times, as if looking for how he felt back then, and gave up after trying. By the way, do you remember the song you used to listen to some time ago? It's called Rolling in the Deep. That's what my buckle sang. What? It's him. The son's eyes widened in surprise. He had heard this song too many times, not only on his own MP3 and on the internet, but also in video stores and barber shops for a while, and he couldn't listen to it on the street without listening to it. The song is very good, but I still think Jay Cho is more powerful as a singer. You wait and see. This scene that happened in ordinary families in Yanjing was also staged in thousands of households throughout China. Every era has idols of each era, and the influence of a star can last for 10 years, which is already rare. It's normal for younger generations, especially non-Western ones, not to know about my button, as did Eric when he was a child. But after tonight, his name will surely spread throughout the land of Shenzhou. In the CCTV studio hall, with the sound of exciting BGM, the black and red lights suddenly attracted the attention of everyone on the scene, and people who remembered to go to the toilet couldn't help but be attracted to sit down. I saw 5 dancers on the left and right wearing black suits and white shirts, red gloves and black top hats walking on the stage. At the same time, 5 red ropes suddenly fell from the ceiling, and 5 black suits danced from the sky in various poses. Just one opening scene instantly shocked the audience and the audience in front of the TV, and the eyes seemed to be firmly attracted by a magnet, and they could no longer leave the stage. Many people suddenly have a feeling that this performance does not seem to be a simple song and dance, and it is fundamentally different from other programs. More than a dozen backup dancers are doing various movements, swaying their feet, flying suits, and needing ballet postures. Under the black and red light, the stage looks messy, but it is very beautiful, highlighting the quality of a professional dancer. Suddenly, the music jerks up a key, and all the backup dancers fall in unison. The backup dancer in the middle of the stage flashed countless fireworks, and after he fell, the buttons of the same black suit and white shirt were revealed. The difference was that he was not wearing red gloves. My co and Eric said that after he understood the meaning of the Spring Festival to the Chinese people, he originally wanted to wear a red jacket to a happy fast song. But after communicating with CCTV still suggested that he adopt a black suit and white shirt because this outfit is too classic. Except for him, there is no other singer who can wear the inner taste. After accepting CCTV's suggestion, Maiku chose to reproduce the classic performance at the MTV Awards on the stage of the Spring Festival Gala. On stage, a large close-up camera instantly focuses on my button, and the passionate background music falls, replaced by a quiet murmur and a crisp snap of fingers. Smack, smack, smack. With snaps of fingers, the masterpiece, Dangerous, the music played, and my button twisted her body slightly, shaking her head slightly while walking slowly. The way she came into the place I knew right then and there. I noticed the steps she walked in. There was something different about this girl. This girl is different. The way she moved her hair, her face, her lines. Her pace, her hair, her face, her graceful lines. Divinity in motion as she stalked the room. She stepped in and acted as if she had some kind of divine power. A few whispers. The sound may not seem loud, but it can be clearly conveyed to the ears of every audience. You don't need to understand the lyrics. You can already clearly feel the mysterious and dangerous feeling.
Bang!
Micah's hand slowly lifted up and fell suddenly, and at the moment when his hand touched his body, suddenly a violent drum beat sounded in the background. Perfect jamming. At the same time, the black suit dancers who had fallen around seemed to be activated, and their bodies gracefully rose from the ground and stood behind my button. Obviously, they are all big men with a height of 1.8 meters, but when they dance, they are as soft and sliding as a water snake, full of freedom and nature. The girl is so dangerous. Take away my money, throw away my time. This girl is really dangerous, taking my money and wasting my time. You can call me honey, but you're no damn good for me. You can call me baby, but you're not doing me any good. She came at me in sections with the eyes of desire. She walked towards me on the block, the flames of desire burning in her eyes. I feel trapped into her web of sin, a touch, a kiss, a whisper of love. I fell into the web of sin she had weaved, caressed a kiss, and whispered tenderly. The chant continues, and countless dances such as mechanical, jazz, lock, break, and tap are incorporated into the song, and his posture is extremely graceful, and each step is exactly on a drumbeat, as if to add the finishing touch to the song. For ordinary singing and dancing singers, music and dance steps are two separate systems, and it is rare to be able to achieve complete harmony. Not to mention the graceful movements, which is even more difficult. The dance of Maiku is integrated with the music, and when the music is at the climax, the dance steps must be at the climax. When the dance steps reach the climax, the music must also be at the climax, and the dance steps are equal to the rhythm. When the music arrives, you will be satisfied, and if you are conscious, the dance steps will be achieved. In the audience at this moment, Jay Cho, Xia Xiaodong, Qi Qin, Mok Wenwei, Adu. All professional singers, no matter what field they sing, whether it is ethnic, pop, or bel canto. Everyone looked at the man on the stage intently, watching him calmly and confidently draw out dance steps and make movements. Previously, there was a chain of contempt in the field of music. Classical despised jazz, jazz despised rock, rock despised ballad, folk despised pop, and pop despised rap. In a few more years, rap will despise shouting microphones, and shouting microphones will despise pang meilong. But this moment does not exist anymore. No one feels noble anymore. No one feels superior to others in singing. Because the person on the stage has conquered the audience. In the past, he only heard his name but did not see him, and there was a sense of superiority in his heart, but today they are all convinced. Mok Wenwei looked at Qi Qin beside him. Fortunately, we came to power before Michael Jackson. Otherwise, I'm afraid no one will watch. Qi Qin nodded thoughtfully. Although he was not a singer and dancer, even if he only listened to the songs, he was extremely accurate. What's more, my buckle was still dancing, and there was no sign of chaos in his breath, which was unreasonable for him to be over 40 years old. The king of the world's pop really deserves his name, and I suddenly feel very regretful. Regret what? I regret that I didn't fly to see Jackson's concert back then. He was the real peak at that time, and I regret that I didn't go to ask for an autograph and group photo during the rehearsal, and I'm afraid I won't have a chance to leave the show after a while. The corners of Jay Chow's mouth raised, and he leaned over and said, "I'm coming, signed on my clothes, out of print." As singing and dancing singers, Lin Yiluan and Xia Xiaodong understand the difficulties better, and the clearer they are, the more they admire. There is a kingly air in him, How the hell did he train this batch of backup dancers, and why is it so uniform? Lin Yiluan kept shaking his head, thinking about his stage effect. He was simply turned into scum in seconds. The hot girl group and the cutie group are already looking at the little star of the fangirl. Han Lei, Tianjun, Song Zuying, and other singers admire the same five-body throw. At the same time, everyone is also feeling sorry for the singer who performed later, performing after Michael Jackson. The contrast is too strong and doomed to tragedy. Dangerous. The girl is so dangerous. Dangerous. This girl is very dangerous. Take away my money, throw away my time. Take my money and waste my time. You can call me honey, but you're no damn good for me. You can call me baby, but you're doing me no good. Dangerous. The girl is so dangerous. Dangerous. This girl is very dangerous. I have to pray to God cause I know how lust can blind. I have to pray to heaven because I know how greed blinds people's minds. It's a passion in my soul. There was an impulse that lurked in my soul. But you're no damn lover friend of mine. But you are by no means my lover, much less my friend. Singing and dancing, my co is like a king, leading his guards on tour. One will be the action that you can't distinguish between primary and secondary if you don't pay attention to it, and the other will be a twist with clear primary and secondary and highlighted water chestnut. The brim of the hat is pulled down, and my buckle's feet are like butterflies wearing flowers, moving back and forth, left and right at a very fast speed. This kind of dance step is very heavy on the ankles, and the average person is definitely not as natural and flexible as him. He's got a different pace, and he's so good at adjusting. It's not just powerful, fast and slow, moving and static, oblique and straight, intense and soft. All the elements in his performance quickly move towards its opposite and quickly return to itself. This dance is so pleasing to the eye. Is this the king who conquered the world? Nicholas, compared to Jackson, we are still too far behind. It's nothing. I don't plan to sing in the future. Concentrate on acting. Guanxi, you are an amphibious singer. Study hard. Rich City, can you tell how many dances are integrated in Jackson's dance moves? Aaron Kwok shook his head. I need to watch the replay. His dabbling is too wide. Husband, I feel like I've suddenly become a fan of Maiku. He sings so well, and his dancing is even more handsome. Better than me singing? Wang Feng asked rhetorically. Well, it's much better.
Ye Hui nodded.
Lao Chui, this song obviously integrates elements of rock and roll. Chui Jian snorted. Michael Jackson is a top music master. I have heard his songs. Beat It and Give In to Me integrate rock and roll very well. Amazing. The singers and the audience in the venue were shocked by the performance, and the same was true outside the venue. From the moment the program list was announced, the entire Chinese singers were paying attention, and they were all staying in front of the TV, ready to appreciate the ability of the king of the world's pop. And now they saw it, and from the moment they saw it, they could say nothing but admiration. Click, click. In the sound of glass breaking, every time my buckle waved his hand, the backup dancer lying on the ground suddenly raised his upper body. The incomparably accurate stuck points make the action full of power and impact. At this point, the performance has lasted more than 5 minutes. You must know that the program arrangement of the Spring Festival Gala is very compact, and if one program lasts more, other programs can only be reduced. If the average singer is a team chorus, they can give more time. But in the case of solo singing, let alone 5 minutes, giving 3 minutes is already very tolerant and generous. But after watching this show, I believe everyone will shut up. No one thinks that Maya's been occupied for a long time. I just hope that he will occupy a little more, free world-class performances, an unparalleled audiovisual feast, and what more bicycles? Woohoo! With a trademark scream, all the backup dancers fell in unison. Only the king is left standing on the stage,